What do you say when there are no words? Feel a song that's never been heard. How do you know when you hear the call? What do you do when you've done it all? Cannonball, 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 cannonball. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Be anything you want to be. It's not what you got, it's how you use it. You be you and I'll be me, it's just a matter of style. You can't fake it, mile after mile, feeling free. If you got the soul, you can make it. Move 'em out, let 'em roll, from sea to shining sea. Oh.
Howdy, partners! Just put
Hey,
my hat on for a wee while. Let me see. So, you've all caught up with Hal Needham. Boy.
I unfortunately work really got panicked over the weekend and for the past couple of days. I did get through Cannonball 1, Cannonball 2, Hooper, and I was trying to get Cactus Jack running this afternoon, but I've literally clocked off work 4 minutes ago.
Well, I got through them all, and I got through Smokey and the Bandit just about 5 minutes before I sent out the link late. I got caught up. Oops. My fault. Oops, sorry. So, how's your week been?
Well, I just told you about mine.
I know how yours is. You're always working. That's nothing new.
Yeah, I'm not a workaholic, I promise.
Well, it's better being a workaholic than other holics.
Yeah. You're saying that. I can't really resist.
Oh, yes.
I'm saying nothing. I don't touch the stuff. I get it injected.
Oh, I touch the stuff and fondle the stuff even.
That's where you're going wrong.
Yeah, I should probably be drinking the stuff instead of fondling it. But
yeah, it doesn't get absorbed through your skin when you're swimming in it.
Are you sure?
I
mean, I've seen Lord of the Rings, The Hobbits, when it goes, it's like, it comes in pints.
Well, I've managed to catch up with everything. I was ill Tuesday. I was ill Monday night. Came home and just went straight to my bed and slunk. And that was me right up until Tuesday. And I wasn't feeling great on Tuesday either, but managed back to work today, so all good. All good.
All good.
So managed to catch up with my movies. And I must admit, I was looking at a load of the Hal Needham stuff that he's directed, and there's a lot of it I've not seen.
I know.
So apart from Smokey and the Bandit and the Cannonball Hooper, which I didn't think I'd seen before, but once I started watching it, I realised I had seen it before. I remember the bit with the dog. That was one that I remembered. And he's obviously done... Sitting there, I'm not paying attention to them, so they're sitting whining. But I hadn't seen things like Ray or Body Slam or Stroker, Ace and stuff like that. And he did a few Bandit ones. Bandit Ghost Country, Bandit Bandit and Beauty and the Bandit, and Bandit Silver Angel. I haven't seen any of those. I haven't
They
even
don't
heard of
sound
any of
familiar
those.
to me either.
They
But
are.
what it did bring back to
Yeah.
me, I started watching Sunday evening, and me and Alex, we were working on making sure that the intro for this one got perfected. But while I was
Perfect.
watching the film, or when I was watching the films, it's that distinctive laughter. That haha.
Mhm.
How many times he's used it across in film scenes as well as the intro to the films. It's just amazing, and it like brought back memories from the 80s. Basically, the film is on in the background on the telly, and you hear that. I know this is going to be fun. There's going to be cars crashing. There's going to be car races. Because let's face it, the ones we focused on is a lot of cars.
Yes.
And a lot of gorgeous
Well, that's
cars.
why I put in the thumbnail for it is, what was it? Screw the dialogue. Let's wreck cars. One of his,
It's not as bad as what is called the Blues Brothers,
Oh
where
yes.
they wreck like 200 police cars or something.
but that was one of his main mantras was screw the dialogue. Let's wreck cars. Because you look at a lot of his stuff, it is good stunts because he was a stuntman. He started off as a stunt. Do you know the one thing I noticed in Smokey and the Bandit? I know it sounds silly. I've seen that numerous times. Was one of the truckers. You sort of going,
I know what you're on about. I know what you're on about. Yeah.
because I'm a big John Wayne fan. He's basically, is it Howard Hank Warden? Hank Warden was one of the truckers.
It might be because there's a lot of celebrities in these films that we're covering this evening.
Yeah.
So
The
you have
reason I
Adam
remember Hank
West, you have
Warden.
Frank Sinatra,
Yeah.
you have tons of
Oh,
them.
aye. But seeing this one, it's just he's got a wee light. He's don't even got any dialogue. He just waves at the camera as he's one of the convoy trucks, and he waves, and that is it. And I'm thinking, Ice Pirates. He played. Oh God, who played in Ice Pirates? He played the old Jason. So they went through a time warp and they aged, and he played the old Jason. Was played by. Oh God, who was in Time Pirates? It was Crosby's daughter. Mary Crosby, and I keep on going to say something Vaughn, but it wasn't. It was. I don't know why I keep on going to say Vince Vaughn, but it's not. It's not. It's oh God. I'll need to check that out.
Where's
Actually,
Colin when you need him in the
I
chat?
know that's what I was going to say. With Colin, he
Yeah.
knows all these bits and pieces. But Hank Wooden, he basically was in a lot of westerns. So he was John Wayne westerns. He was friends with John Wayne. He was friends with Henry Ford and stuff like that, and they got him a lot of work as bit parts, and he's basically that's why I recognise him, and he's played in other bits and pieces. So let's see, Ice Pirates. I loved Ice Pirates. Robert Urich was in it, and he played the old guy. He played the old Robert Urich part. So he does when they went through a time war. He basically is a wee old man. So that's where I recognised him from. It's just he smiled and leaned out the window, and that was it. And I'm thinking, I recognise him because I was watching Ice Pirates a couple of weeks ago. When I've got a movie, it's fun. I just shove it on in the background, and it just takes your mind off a lot. But
So is it something they're focusing on Hal Needham and watching these? It reminds me of the adventures they rather went on when they did the films in this time period. They were more focused on having fun, and
Yeah.
if you see the outtakes of Cannonball Run 1,
yeah,
they're slapping each other in the face, but you can tell it's the acting like pack. And then they're just laughing because it didn't get executed correctly, or they hit the shoulder and then like the lower chin, so it wasn't like a good slap, and just having pure fun and then making a film out of it. It's what's missing from today. It's been missing for 25 years, perhaps.
Can I just raise something? I know. You know the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yes.
That, how the character Brad Pitt played was based around Hal Needham because of the stuntman fiasco. It's how can I put it? Hal Needham's really left his mark on Hollywood. That's all I can say.
Oh, you can see it with the amount of stunt coordinators he was. He was in so many films with so many directors, worked with so many actors, and it's not just he played parts. He basically played the stunt double for a lot of big actors.
Oh yes.
So he's basically done a lot. Basically, as you said, starts off as a stunt, then he's a stunt coordinator, then he's an actor, then he's a director. And he still does bits and pieces, and he's friendly with a lot of these people. That's why he could get such big names in films that people see as popcorn films nowadays, where they're not taken seriously. They're just there, a lot of them having fun. You can look at it, Cannonball Run, and you just see them all having fun. Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Jackie Chan,
Sammy Davis
George.
Jr.
They're just all having silly fun.
The witty one-liners and all. The witty one-liners.
And you can guarantee a lot of those one-liners were probably put in, and it's cracked them all up, and then it just says, right, we'll stick with it, but try and say it without everybody laughing around you. And it's that type of thing. You can just imagine them all.
You see that in the outtakes as well.
Yes.
It's like they trying to keep a straight face. It's like, no, Dom DeLuise, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, he's funny. He's always funny because I've seen a lot of his stuff that he's been in, and the amount of outtakes, even in things it's sort of serious. You look at the Stargate, you see the outtakes for his.
Oh,
it's all people just cracking up.
I know.
And the bit when he's with his two sons in Stargate, just three of them crack up all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, Dom DeLuise is just obviously, he's got that persona of being fun, but also a nightmare to work with because he's so, you can't keep a straight face around him. Right, serious now. And then it just sets everybody else off because all he needs to do is go, and that sets people off because they know he's about to crack.
Yep.
He's always had that persona. He's just a lovable rogue, I suppose is the easiest way, because you don't know what's going to happen next, and you know it's going to be stupid and silly. And it's going to crack everybody up. It's not like he's suddenly going to go, right, that's it, I'm not working with him. Get him off. It'd be more a case of, I'm not working with him, I'm going to leave, and do something silly like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But you would know it's not serious. It's just, hey, Mickey, hold on. My dogs have found that they're treats again.
Oh, there you go. I will add it to
I put
Dom
their treats
DeLuise.
in this, and they keep on trying to open it with their teeth. I put it in this so they can't get to it.
But that's the problem. It's like a wiki basket. Obviously, all the smell is going out through the holes.
That's okay. It's meant to be, but it's just a case of they keep trying to chew through it every single time when I'm on stream. They don't do it any other time. Only when I'm on stream, and that's when I can hear it go.
It's probably because they perceive you to not pay attention to them.
Yes,
so
that's probably what it is.
Mm.
I can just hear it behind me. It's right behind me. I can just hear them. So I've had to move it. And the other two of them are trying to set up now. Isn't that a surprise, boys?
Now they're paying attention to you.
Now they're paying attention. Say hi, everybody. Hey, bud. Say hi. Hey. Actually,
Say hello.
And there's Ben. Say hi. They're not looking at me. They're looking over at the food.
Of course they are. I can also see you got the plates up in the background.
Yes, I've got a number of them. There's two here, and there's one there, and one there, and I've got a couple up at the top, and I've got some here and one over there. I've got them all over the place, mostly up high. I'm going to have to give them a switch so they stop barking. I can't have them barking all the way through just to get attention. Bad dogs.
Yeah.
But
So,
then again,
as I was saying around Dom DeLuise is as much fun as he appears from all the behind the scenes clips and everything. I know literally nothing about him because I consider him one of those. They say don't meet your hero, but I consider him one of those like iconic images of what Hollywood really came out with. So you have the Schwarzeneggers, Stallones. Crap, his name just disappeared from me. He's playing the action hero in Aliens 2. And there are tons of those that are just around. And you consider them, okay, that's Hollywood. I don't care about the fancy glam and whatnot. I just think fantastic portrayal of a character, whether it's psychotic or evil or maniacal or anything. Dom DeLuise, even though I know it's funny, serious sequences, he can carry them just as well as he can carry the humor and the funny stuff with it. It's just one of those that could do anything without being the typical like super jacked Arnold Schwarzenegger, 7.5 feet tall.
I think he'd play a good villain because he would have one of those faces you would underestimate quite a lot.
Well, aren't you really considering Captain Chaos to be a villain?
Dun, dun, dun! I don't want to be Captain Chaos. I want to be
in USA. And he does that in the outtake because he gets that.
He says, I want to be Captain America.
Yep.
And they said, you can't do that. Okay, I want to be Captain USA. Dun, dun, dun. It worked.
You might need to pick that up before your dogs go off.
I put it over. I've done it onto the table so it didn't go on the ground that time. I actually worked properly. That thing. I made sure I didn't aim it at the camera or a keyboard or anything. The last time I did that on stream, it kicked me off. Remember?
Yeah, we do remember.
It switched me off. So I made sure it was actually an empty battery of the desk. It wasn't going to actually go anywhere silly. But yes. So what is your favourite Hal Needham one? You all know mine. I've literally been saying it before we even considered Hal Needham.
You might have been sharing 1 or 100 clips on your YouTube channel from said film.
Because it is one of my favourite movies, so it is. You hear him? You hear him whining?
No, it's not picking it up on my end.
Good, that's the main thing. Mr. I Want Mayor.
Well, I can go first. For me, it is not maybe the best or the favorite. It is just where I came through the timeline into discovering the films he was doing. So for me, it has to be Cannonball Run 1.
Yeah.
Because humor, car races, action, gorgeous ladies, very humorous banter and dialogue. And I don't think you can...
Cannonball.
Yeah, you could probably not have remade this film 20 years ago because the wokeness would have just gone... The brains would have just imploded.
Yeah, you couldn't make it just now. Same as any of his movies. Smokey and the Bandit, even Cactus Jack, even though that's a zany one. It's not something you could actually do.
But this is where they understood humor and banter and being able to play. Okay, you know the ladies that is like, oh, we're getting caught for speeding. Let's go and here's my driver's license. And they actually bring in a female cop, and she's just going, you don't happen to have the driver's license down there, do you, darling?
Yeah.
Which is such a brilliant scene because
it's a case of I'll get it. You don't have a driver's license tucked in that tight wee top there, do you, darling? And it's a cop that looks a hell of a lot better than you did.
But another thing I love about Cannonball Run 1, if you recall in the intro, Dom DeLuise is coming in late to the garage where Burt Reynolds is fixing the engine or something. And they're having this dialogue back and forth. And Dom DeLuise is turning toward the camera because he said him. And Burt Reynolds is actually slow. He's not saying anything. He's acting in the background by movements alone. But if you look at Dom DeLuise's face, his eyes are turning in a certain way, his facial expressions. Fantastic performance. That's like Oscar top tier level performance for just a small comedy scene to bring in. And that's what I really like hooks me. I love when that happens, especially when it is so distinctive. Yes, it might be even broadcasting it a little bit too much that, hey, this is actually two really good actors. But it really lifts the quality. To its detriment for Cannonball Run, it actually sets the quality really high, and then it's just an hour and a half of car chase and car crash and brawls and everything. But it's still, there is no mistaking when you watch Cannonball Run, when you're 5-10 minutes into the film, you know you're watching a comedy film.
Yeah. Yep. And see Cannonball Run, did you notice, see, remember the bikers they were fighting?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Was it, what was the other one they did? It was the same guy, the guy who played the SWAT team. Was that Cannonball Run 2? It was the SWAT team they were fighting.
Yeah, might have been, yeah.
Yeah, but it was the same guy. It was in both scenes. The baldy guy.
Yeah.
Played in a lot of them. But did you see the guy who was the chief biker before they started fighting with them? Before they was going with the guy in the suit, remember? The guy in the suit, the two of them were dressed as a married couple, and the two bikers. Did you see who the biker was?
I didn't pay attention, but the face is familiar.
Fonda.
It was Peter Fonda.
Peter Fonda.
And remember why I suppose why I thought about him was, yep, that's the right one. Because can you remember the biker movie Fonda was in? Easy Rider.
Easy Rider, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I got that, and I thought, there you go, that's Peter Fonda. And yes, and it just linked me back to Easy Rider because, I mean, the Fonda was actually in that.
Well, it's like I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of famous names that Hal Needham managed to round up. It's like, hey, I'm doing a film. And you can tell
James
it's
Barr was
literally
fantastic in the Cannonballs as well as the Sheik.
I know.
He was
my surprise was Cannonball Run 2, where we have Adam West.
Yes. Or you had James Bond, Roger Moore.
Yeah. Roger Moore as Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. It's like that sheer brilliance.
But it was just a case of the silly things, like some of the things that even I loved. Who was the doctor?
He's really known with the wonky eyes.
With the wonky eyes. He was in Cactus Jack as well. Edom. Is it Edom?
Jack Edom, I think. Yeah.
Jack Edom. That's the one.
Yeah.
He's always funny in things he did, and he was in Cactus Jack, which is also known as the villain.
Hasn't he been in a lot of Mel Brooks films as well?
He has been. It's all the ones with the eyes. He's always the
Also, remember he was in 2 of the James Garner cowboy movies. Support Your Local Sheriff and Support Your Local Gunfighter.
Yeah, I love that. Support Your Local Sheriff. That's a fun movie, and he always plays this sort of drunk. I've got him. I just like. I've always liked his character as well. And then Smokey the Bandit. No, was it Smokey the Bandit? No, Cannonball Run as well. It's Cannonball Run 2. You had the stuttering guy from Cactus Jack. And then in Cannonball Run 2 as well, you've also got the Fishers, which has got Foster Brooks. The drug it's just fizz and no problem. And it was it's basically a lot of characters appeared because he's obviously friendly with them.
But I like the writing when it comes to Cannonball Run 2 is an excellent sequel to Cannonball
Yep.
Run 1. I would say it even outstrips things like Aliens versus Aliens 2. Sorry, Alien. I keep forgetting that it is singular.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of sequels or follow-ups that do really well. But when you know Cannonball Run 1 and you start Cannonball Run 2, suddenly a lot of the allegiances have changed. So
Yeah.
the Doctor is no longer really with Burt Reynolds and Tom DeLuise. He's actually with the Arab guy to
Yep.
support him because his ulcer. And it's the rotation there. It's like
Yeah.
they brought him
Oh,
back.
When
For
it comes
some
to money,
reason.
the things change. You don't always ride with the same crew.
But
Yeah.
the Doctor has that. In Cannonball Run 1, it's like calculating. My fee would be $2,000. It's like, here's 200. Like, oh, yeah, it will do. And when he tries to negotiate in the second film with the Sheik just pull out like a big bundle of money and just like,
I
you're
know.
paid, you're done. It's like, don't even care to negotiate with him. Just
Yeah.
like, here's the money.
There's that scene where the Sheik pulls up in Cannibal Run where he's done a phone order and you've got that waitress standing there and he just takes off one of his rings and puts it on a finger and you go, there you go, keep the change. Takes off, reverses, gives her a bundle of cash and say, keep it physical, I shall return for you, and buggers off. You know.
Yeah. Which you imagine nowadays. Somebody
We
do
never
that.
get the sequence anymore where it is, I ordered 6 lamb kebabs and
Yeah.
4 halloumi burgers and 2 milk.
No, it's even the fact is, here's money, I'll come back for you. It's basically, effectively a man buying a woman.
Yeah, that
No
will not
chance.
happen.
Even if it's done as a joke, because everybody knows it was played for fun. It's like turning around and play a Scotsman wearing a kilt and counting every single penny as if it's actually that one penny's going to the thing that kills him, giving it away. It's basically it's the old joke. Is like a Scotsman with a purse. It would take 15 men to actually open it for him, just to try and pay something. Or a Scotsman can count how many pennies he's got in a pocket with a pair of boxing gloves on. We don't take offence to it because we know it's just a joke stereotype. So it's one of those things. But people nowadays take offence to everything. So a joke stereotype of an Arab, that's racist. A joke stereotype, it's just that's what it is. The people from that country know it's not serious. It's just taking one wee aspect and running with it. It's like having every Englishman with a bowler hat, pinstripe suit, and an umbrella going, yes, what, with a Times under their arm. No, not everybody's like that, but it's a jokey stereotype. The same as a cloth cap and old miners. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody in America wears a cowboy hat, and it's that type of thing. Or all Vikings wear horn helmets. But you know what I mean? We know it's all jokey stereotypes, and people just can't take a jokey stereotype nowadays, which is unfortunate because sometimes you can take the jokey stereotypes and make it really, really funny when you play into it. But if it's a comedy, why wouldn't you play into it? If it was a serious drama, you wouldn't expect it to be played into, and that's the difference. When it's a farce comedy like Smokey and the Bandit, Cannonball Run, Cactus Jack, even Hooper to an extent, although that wasn't a jokey one, it was a bit serious about the stunts and stuff like that and the rivalry, and they just used the jokes around it. It was a bit more serious, but things like Cactus Jack, Cannonball Run, and Smokey and the Bandit, you kind of say they were taken seriously because they all just seem to be having fun, and it's all jokes all the way through it. Nobody can take it seriously, and the jokey stereotypes work in that. Yeah, I mean, I love these type of movies for that, where you can switch them on and just go and enjoy without having to think about what's happening. Oh, I've missed that last 2 minutes. I'll have to rewind it. Look at that. I'll catch it next time. It's just as funny. And it's just you don't need to you don't need to watch every single part of your story, so you can have it on in the background working away, and you still have fun because you catch bits. You don't need to concentrate on the whole story, and that's what some movies need to be. They need to be just entertainment for the sake of entertainment.
That is true.
And Hal Needham definitely nailed that. His stuff you can't say is Shakespeare, but it is bugger the dialogue. Let's wreck cars. It is just good, fun stunts.
That's the simplification of it. But if you look at Hal Needham overall, it's let's try and make something that is funny.
Yeah,
People don't go in and it's like, I'm going to be educated. I will learn all about spaghetti westerns by watching Cactus Jack. Although I would say it's pretty good, like, benchmark for what is supposed to be a little bit of cheeky western.
Yeah.
Not as serious as Clint Eastwood, but say Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, where it's a little bit more lighthearted. If we put Maverick in there with Mel Gibson, lighthearted, just for entertainment. And I would think Hollywood
at one end, you've got one end here, which is Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, this sort of grittier types of movies, and at the other end, you've got Blazing Saddles. And Hal Needham's Cactus Jack is down nearer this end.
Yes.
It's not as far down as Blazing Saddles, but it's down at that end. Whereas things like support your local sheriff and you support your local sheriff and Magnum and all that are nearer the middle. There's humorous comedies. Cat Ballou is in there as well in the middle because there's humorous comedy westerns. Whereas you've got one extreme, you've got the other. Because you would never class The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and True Grit is light-hearted in any way. Although there's a wee bit light-heart here and there. It's just it's a drama, hard-hitting movie. But then you've got the other side ones where you don't need to think. You can just sit back and go, ha ha!
You're there to be entertained on that end.
Yeah. You can actually sit in the bomb and go, yippee-ki-yay!
But I will push this. Cactus Jack for me is on the same level as Blazing Saddles.
It's down there, yes.
To
me, it is live action cartoons done well.
That's true.
There's been some good live action cartoons, like for instance the Flintstones with John Goodman. I thought that was fun. And as a live action cartoon, they did it quite well because they had enough of how the cartoon worked. Whereas you get other live action cartoons that don't work, like for instance the Marvel movies. They are not the live action cartoons because they take the names and then just change everything and go, oh, it's the same as the comic, it's the same as the cartoon. No, it's not. Whereas I think Cactus Jack worked because they took it, they didn't take a cartoon and actually change it. What they did was they took the premise of cartoons and Warner Brother cartoons and put it into a Western, and then they wrote everything around it, and it works for so much of it.
Actually, my mind is now sidetracking. I would love to see the wokest Hollywood try to make a live action film of the Animaniacs.
I would like to see people who say they're not woke make the Animaniacs, because it would just be as bad.
Yeah,
it's very, very true. But if you think of Bugs Bunny, that stuff can't be done today.
That's true.
None of it could. You look at Tom and Jerry.
But they've already changed Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, they took the woman out.
Yeah.
They can't have her in it because that was racist.
Which I literally do not understand how it could possibly be. She's the cook. She's the chef of the household. And she's like, Get away.
Get
Stop
these
messing
bugs,
around.
these mice, these rabbits. It's basically Tom's job to keep the mice out.
Yeah.
But because she was portrayed as a black woman, it's classed as a racist stereotype.
But when did Tom and Jerry actually come out? Was it 30s,
Uh,
40s?
I think it started in the 40s, 50s. Initially, I think it was a comic strip, and but so roughly around about there. But the fact is,
This is the part where I vehemently disagree with the wokists. They tried
yes,
to rewrite
because
history. This did not happen in the 1950s. This did not happen in the 30s, 1920s.
right, right. Remember,
They're trying to remove. Yes,
yes,
this
it's the
was.
same as, like, for instance, I'm re-listening to Ready Player One, right? I dislike the movie, but the book I really like. But there is that one part of the movie in the book, sorry, that it is so woke. One wee teeny part, you have to just go, I'll ignore it. It's when they're talking about H and why H created the character of a white male,
Yeah.
and it was a case of it's a black female, and it was her mum who used to say that the Oasis was the best thing because that means you could have an avatar that people just assumed that's who you were. So her mum used to do business as a white male, and she says it gave her more freedoms because people assumed she was a white male, so they treated her better. And I thought, the wee woke part coming in there. If this was in the 50s and 60s and 70s, even, I would say yes, but considering this is meant to be 20 years, 22 years in the future, in the 2045s, it doesn't quite work because
No.
it means that nowadays is when I think it's 2025 is when the Oasis is meant to be launched. So 3 years from now, our mum was thinking that being a female and being black was a disadvantage, and even in modern times. And I'm sitting there thinking that's bad. But the girl, Ace turns out to be gay, and her mum threw her out because her mum even had her own prejudices. So H is black, female, and gay, and she was treated the worst by society. And I thought, yeah, Ace is H is one of the best characters in the book. It doesn't matter if it's male, female, straight, gay, black, white, because it's in the Oasis. It means nothing. And
But
what did they do in the book? What did they do
that
in the movie?
is.
What did they do in the movie? They made
Yeah.
sure it wasn't a white male she turned into. They made her into an orc. This is these people who say Dungeons and Dragons is racist because all orcs are black people. And what did they do with H? They turned her into an
This
orc.
is them projecting stuff onto
Yes,
onto
they
the
are the ones
audience.
that actually say that. And then what did they do with a great character H? The girl who played H on screen to me was H. So when they were in the live action part, that was H from the book. However, the fact that they made H an orc on screen, yet they tell us that if we play orcs in Dungeons and Dragons, we're racist because orcs are black people because that's how we see them.
No.
It just goes to show how
This
nuts they
game,
are.
you can tell where the imposters are coming from. And I've actually become quite acquainted with something called imposter syndrome. I don't think I belong here.
Mhm.
Now, the gaming world that I've been part of since the early 90s, we're talking Diablo, online RTS games and everything. And even when MMORPGs started coming in, people couldn't care less who the actual physical human being that's sitting in the chair and moving the character around and behaving decently, everything. Never, and it still today isn't. It's just that these so-called gaming blogs and mainstream news is going, oh, they're doing horrible stuff. No, they're not.
It's the same as Dungeons and Dragons and Magic. All my groups have had male, female, straight. It makes no difference. We're there to play Dungeons and Dragons. If you know how to play it, you're in.
Yep. If
The
you
only
don't,
time people get annoyed is if
we'll
somebody
start
actually
low
tries
level
to
and bring
change
you
the
in.
rules. When somebody tries to change the rules, that's when we had issues. Not a case of, if you know how to play it, we don't care. The rest of it is unimportant. Sit down and play.
Yeah, well, it's not. They're not trying to change the rules. They're going, oh, it's my game, and if you don't play to my demands, I will go home. It's like that's not remotely close to what Dungeons and Dragons are. You come there with your character. You have built it up. You crafted the character that you want with love, with attentions. You roll the die. You got the numbers. You got the strength, charisma, and everything, and then you play it out in your mind. How would I act if this happens? How would I speak to a barkeep? How would I interact with the rest of the team? We've got massive amount of loot. Well, I'm a rogue, and I am chaotic evil. I'm going to stab everybody in the back once we go to sleep and steal all of it. Of course. It's the understanding of that concept that they do not have.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying things like movies from yesteryear where they don't take it seriously, or they play up to the point you see how ridiculous it is. You look at Blazing Saddles; it played it to the point it was ridiculous.
Which is
They
why
brought
they
in all
had
the
to
trope.
end it at the way they did.
Yes,
Crashing
That-
through set scenes and everything.
yeah. But the thing is, Dom DeLuise is in that as well. Not the face.
Not the face, not the face.
But it's the same as like programs like Smokey and the Bandit. He goes into the cafe to get a nose bag. I used to be a CBer, so all the stuff they were talking about, I understood. Believe it or not, can you guess my handle? I was the bird brain. So I was. That's my handle from the CB. I was the bird brain. But they go into the cafe and he's talking to the chef and the guy sitting in the bar, and they're just going, "Who's all the guys here?" And they're basically turning around and saying, "Yeah, I know they're a bunch of hicks." And then who's the one that gets beat up? The snowman, because the other guy was smart enough to get out of there. I said, but the other guy was smart enough to get out of there because he knew they were trouble, and then they beat him up because they were bullying the dog. And then it's a case of you knew fine well as soon as he came out, you could see the smile. I wonder where their bikes were, because you knew he was going to run it. Because I had Smokey in the back, I had Every Which Way But Loose running through there. Remember?
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, he's got a big truck. I wonder where their bikes are. And you knew he was, but I wanted to see their faces. But you didn't get the satisfaction of seeing their faces, as in we caused that by beating him up. You wanted to see them realizing they caused it, because I don't know, just one of those things. I thought Smoking and Bandit was really good for that, because believe it or not, the males, the females, black, white, didn't matter. They were all having a good laugh and joke. They were playing, some of them were playing the stereotypes. The females were playing the stereotypes, the foxy lady and all that, or the wee shy one. We're not going to get into trouble if we do this. Go and see it. 10-4. Let go of the button. You know what I mean? It's that type of thing. They were playing into the stereotypes of the dumb female, the one that could do the two shoes, getting in over her head, even though they're not doing anything except driving. And then you've got the ladies giving a wee bit of special personal attention and stuff like that. You could not have that, but it was done for fun. And it's good old-fashioned entertainment. And I love good old-fashioned entertainment. I love the classics.
Can I just say one thing? Jackie Gleason stole those two films quite well.
Oh, God, aye. Buford T. Justice.
Yeah.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
Cannonball Run. Right? Roscoe P. Coltrane. Every time I saw him in the Cannonball Run, that's all that was going through my head. Dukes of Hazzard, Roscoe P. Coltrane. And it was because of Jackie Gleason. I think it was his Roscoe P. Coltrane. And it was basically, that's all I had in my head, is the two of them saying it side by side.
I just want to share a clip with everybody out there because there's no way you'll be able to get a say. Jackie Gleason saying this is absolutely funny as hell. He's trying to keep a straight face.
I'm going to smack your mother.
No way that you could come from my loins. Soon as I get home, the first thing I'm gonna do is punch your mama in the mouth.
Yeah, I did. Basically, I just thought, yep, nope.
I know.
Yes, but no, I must admit,
See,
it is a fun. It is a.
I know.
The clips
I
are
know.
good. There is a few good clips.
It's what you call spot the one-liners. That's all I can say.
Yes,
Spot the one-liners.
Roscoe B. Coltrane in Boss Hall. Now that was the classic Dukes of Hazzard.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it was. It was when it was fun, and they didn't care. It had the General Lee car. It was just for fun. It was the good old boys. People didn't take it too seriously.
Well,
But it's just one of those things.
yeah. Well, my favourite Hal Needham movie has to be Cannonball Run II because I grew up on that film. It kept being broadcast on ITV back in the day, and when you watch it on a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon, and you just sit back, and it was pure entertainment.
Yeah. Do you know when
And
I saw the first Cannonball Run?
Yeah.
During my Jackie Chan phase. I had seen Jackie Chan in the Incredibly Strange Film Show with Jonathan Ross. That was the first time I'd seen Jackie Chan, and he was talking about all his movies. So I started hunting for his movies. And then Cannonball Run 2. And that's when I first saw the Cannonball Runs, when I was looking at the Jackie Chan stuff. Because anything Jackie Chan was in, I was hunting. And that's what it is. But yeah, as you know, what my favourite one is Cactus Jack. I just love that. I can't help it. I like all Hal Needham's ones, especially the Smokey and the Bandit, Cactus Jack, Hooper, and Cannonball Run. I'll need to dig out the other ones just to have a look at them. I've not even heard of most of the other ones.
Well, I got Body Slam myself, but I think that was his last movie he directed for Hollywood. But it wasn't all that up to scratch.
Well, I don't know if he directed the other ones for Hollywood. I know after Body Slam, he did Bandit Goes Country.
Yeah, there were TV shows.
Bandit Silver Angel, Street Lurg, and Hard Time Hostage Hotel.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was what. I just know his movie list.
I think what it was is that Body Slam was like the last of his greats, but the era was changing at that time. Everybody was going for like action movies and all this and that back then during the late 80s.
Yeah, and I think that's where you see. You look at 77 was Smokey and the Bandit, his first one. Then you had Hooper, the villain. Even Death Car in the Freeway. I don't even think I've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Stunts Unlimited. That's just one that you see.
I have not seen it.
It's just basically it is. It's just as it is. It's used to get the DVDs, remember, and it was Stunts Unlimited or Crashes Unlimited or Formula One, and it was all wins. It's just all about things that happened, and it was all the exciting things under certain genres. And I remember seeing the stunt ones because I saw the Jackie Chan stunt one as well. I saw the martial arts, so it had like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, it had How Young Fat, it had Sammo Hung and stuff like that. And I liked a lot of them because it showed a lot of Chinese cinema as well and showed a lot of the actors in that. Because I've watched a lot of Chinese cinema as well because I love a good, mostly undubbed. I don't mind them reading them, but I prefer it dubbed because even though the synchronization in the mouth is slightly out, I like watching the action, and the story's not a major issue because it's just all about the fighting.
Well, all I'm going to say is that I'm a major Telly Savalas fan because Michael Caine and Telly Savalas are my heroes. And Telly Savalas gets like a top billing for Cannonball Run 2, and he's not in it for long.
No, he's in it for very quick. Like,
We
yes,
love you,
he's
baby.
here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it is because it is drawing on his fame. You know
I
who
know.
he is from
I
all
know.
the other stuff
Yeah.
before, and there's no question he's there.
Did
for
you
a
see that
reason.
Twitter post that somebody put up? It was a Telly Savalas at his Buick, still in the box. Telly Savalas is standing with a gun at the door open to the Buick. I can't remember who put it up on Twitter. But if I get it, if I find it again, I'll tweet it at you. It's a great wee car. Now that's a Telly Savalas fans car. So it is.
Well, it's not every day. It's just when Telly Savalas shows up in that scene at the ranch. And what does he do? He goes, "May I?" Picks up a chair, and the other guy ducks and whacks it over the other guy.
Yes. Are you here for business or pleasure? Oh, business. And the three of them take their hats off and they're all bald. And it's basically, I wouldn't know that, you know what I mean? I had to wear a hat today because I obviously got a haircut and it's shiny.
Now, I just want to know, can I share? I don't know, can we get away with this clip I'm about to share next? Or
Oh, I don't know. We'll not know until we play. I mean, that's the thing. That's why usually when I've got a clip, I upload it as a unlisted, so I'm the only one that can see it. But it tells me if I get away with it.
It's this scene in Cannonball Run 2 that really got me howling with laughter.
All right.
Wen's got a good one with Telesel.
Oh, that one, yes. With the three of them dancing.
Here we go. Here we go.
They must be terrific for Frank to recommend them personally.
I guarantee you have never seen anything like this in your whole... I'm not saying
Really?
that just because I'm their agent.
You know, I just love auditioning new talent. I get all excited.
Baby, I'm aware of where you go. Each time you leave my door, I watch you walk down the street, knowing you're all in love with me. But this time before you
What's the matter? They are a little short on looks.
But didn't you notice the nice unison, the way they dance?
think it over. I've known of your secluded nights.
But even now, they couldn't get away with that because people would take offense to them dressing up.
Yeah.
It's
Worth more than I love you.
I'll say afterwards.
But this time before you leave my arms and rush off to her charms, haven't I been good to you? Haven't I been sweet to you? Stop.
Frank ain't no dummy. I can't sing, but even I can fall. Fat act.
Thank you.
Girls, you're hired. You're hired, girls. You're hired. You all have lifetime contracts here at the Pinto Ranch. I'll just have to move someplace else. Now, girls, lovely. Go to your dressing room and powder your noses a lot. Absolutely wonderful. Frank certainly knows his stuff.
There's no embarrassment between the three of them dressing up, is it?
I know. Do you know what one I was watching the other day and I was thinking, yep, that's another movie that could not be made. Nuns in the Run.
Yeah.
Because they steal the costumes, they dress as two nuns, in a girls' college. So they're sitting there in the shower room. Two men. One of them's obviously telling the other one, "Don't out. We shouldn't be in here." And the other one's going, "I can't help it." But then they dress up as nurses. Then they dress up as stewardesses. It's a case of they get every opportunity to dress up as a pair of females. And it's just a case of that. The premise is funny because the way they did it.
Yeah.
However, it could never be made today because people are too sensitive about silly things.
It's not only too sensitive, there is no good writers left that could actually make a scene like that funny.
Well, exactly, and the ones that could are not allowed to, which is crazy because you imagine some of those writers, directors, producers, actors, they would just be fun. I would love to see some of their stuff right now. That's why we like classic, because we can watch it right now. I just go to my DVD collection, pick one and go, ho ho.
Yeah, no stream service or
Yes.
anything. You can cut sequences out or anything.
Yeah.
But it is, I think, even if we manage to get brave writers come in and actually write proper, not even proper, just decent entertainment, there would be no actors or actresses to pick it up because they would be too scared because two people on Twitter would just go, "Oh, I'm going to hate you for the rest of my life. You're blocked." It's like, well, okay. There's 10 million people over there that would love to watch what I'm doing, but they just don't have that fortitude.
I know it sounds silly, but it's not actually Twitter's fault.
Yeah.
Twitter's the mouthpiece. But all Twitter does is open its mouth, and it's the media that gives it more credence.
Well,
It's
yeah,
the media that gives it credence because the media are
fact-
saying there's thousands of people out there not liking that. No, there's two people sitting in their basement not liking it. That's no thousands, because it's not even, what is it? They reckon 3% of the population have got Twitter.
Yeah.
So that's not even 3%.
Even BBC News is using Twitter as a reliable resource. And if you actually go and look at who tweeted it, they got like 5 followers. The account was created 2 days ago. They have
That's typical. Basically, it's a narrative. As long as it shows the right narrative, they don't care. As long as it shows, they can have somebody creating a. They'll say, right, create the account now, type this. Then they'll say, look, it's on Twitter. Somebody says this. So you might have actually got somebody else to create the account and see it, but as long as it's there, you can see it as reliable source because you've read it. It doesn't matter if it's one person that's just created the account an hour before you read it and saying exactly what you're thinking. As long as it's written down and they can honestly say, I didn't create the account. They might have said to somebody to create the account and say that. That's all. It's they saying, but I'm not lying. No, you're lying by admission. There's a difference.
But toward the last year I was in uni, was literally when Wikipedia started to become kind of known to people that, hey, you can actually have the encyclopedia online, and it's actually being curated. If new information is coming up, people will say, hey, this needs updating, this will be verified, it's peer-reviewed and everything. And the university I was at said, you cannot use Wikipedia as a source because it's not reliable. If you use Wikipedia as a source, you will fail this class.
Yeah.
Today,
in all fairness,
mainstream news organizations that shapes opinions, they can use someone on Twitter with 2 followers and they can make it a complete news cycles for 3 days running and saying, hey, look, someone on Twitter.
Does anybody use Wikipedia?
Occasionally, but it's basically it's like is Guatemala North America or South America? That's basically my research.
See, very rarely. The only time I think I've actually read it or used it was when I was looking for a definition of PJ maybe, because the 2000 AD comic listing of characters, it's not hard to actually get that wrong. You're just typing up what somebody else has said. So it says PJ maybe, and it tells you what comics he was in, what his character was, and what happened to him. So basically, I've linked that in. But that's the only time I've ever done it if I'm looking at comic books, because it's not opinion, it's just somebody's written a list of all the things about the comic books. I've never actually looked at it for anything else, not even TV shows. It's really weird because I see it as a comic book
I use
resource.
the fandom wiki sites for TV shows because it's the fandom that really creates it. And you can tell if they're BSing you immediately. So if I go on, say, Stargate SG-1, I can tell, because I love the TV show, I can tell if the article is wrong. Because I know, by having watched it, I can tell if there's someone that added an edit, and it's like, oh, no, this character did this. And I can go into like the edit history and go, okay, this person has not watched this TV show. They
Yeah,
just added an
I think
opinion.
that's why I don't really use it, is because I know anybody can edit it, and that's why, because I don't take it as gospel. So for something unimportant like comic books, a list of comic book characters, that's just a list of names.
Yeah.
To me, it's unimportant. It's just a list of names. You can get them anywhere. So if it just comes up in Wikipedia instead of anywhere else, then fine. But I wouldn't look at it for information about a movie or stuff like that, because movies are important to me. So it's all to do with that. It's because I know they can be edited by anyone. I don't see the point in them, because to me, they're just opinion. It'd be like me writing something and expecting everybody to take it as gospel. No, I just give my opinion on something. I don't tell everybody they should listen to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly work that way. Yes, you can write your piece, but someone might flag it and say, hey, this doesn't actually look accurate. The rest of the community, of the people that can edit, they will actually have to re-edit, add annotation and saying, here's the source material, here's the proof, here's this, here's the reason, here's why. This is why I think Wikipedia could be better, but it is definitely being abused by people with an agenda. And
I don't look up
the people that would be double checking it can't keep up with the people that have an agenda, because they will just run rampant across hundreds of topics.
Yeah.
And if you're an expert on Doctor Who but knows nothing about Star Trek, and similar changes are made to Doctor Who and Star Trek at the same time, you don't really have a communication means to tell the Star Trek editors that are good at Star Trek but know nothing about Doctor Who, to say, hey, we got a lot of these. Can you check on your end? Do you have a lot of the same? They don't have that quality control in between them.
Once I rule the world, I'm going to make it that everybody has to put their full ID information into their accounts, and they only have one account, one email address. The lot. That is it. You're only allowed one. You have two, you get jailed. So you have one. So your name, your address, and everything is linked to that one account. You cannot have another. And let's see.
I'm a privacy advocate.
They can have an alias, but everything's linked to that account. So they cannot. You can't have trolls. You can't have it. If somebody's got an opinion, it's their opinion. They're allowed to have it. However, everything is linked, so you know who everybody behind that is. So let's see the trolls actually get away with threatening people when they could just create another email address and disappear.
The trolls would probably be diminishing quickly, but it is, my concern is the leftist, wokest people that are absolutely okay to protest outside a Supreme Court Judge Hal's private residence threatening violence.
Yes,
Because
but the good thing is they can't coordinate it online because their accounts can be blocked, and that is them across the whole social
No.
media
They
platform.
would use it to actually physically come to your home and threaten you and your family because they disagree.
No, but the thing is, they can't coordinate it because they could get their accounts completely blocked, so they cannot coordinate it social media because once it's been identified, they no longer have access to social media. End of story.
Oh,
That's,
what was
but
it
then again,
called?
it'll take another couple of years before I manage to get the reign of the world in my hand to do that.
So you're
Just another
telling
couple
me
of
you
years.
didn't win the 184 million pounds yesterday?
No. I
Because
gave that
it
away.
was the first thing you did.
That was my other jacket. That was my other jacket.
But no, on your point there, it's the key custodian, or whatever it's called.
Who watches the watcher.
watcher? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is. I don't believe in the Big Brother that it's always watching you, because if someone would be watching me, say the government, a reasonable amount of workload would be at minimum 2 people shift changing, watching everything I do every single second of the day. Cannot be done, because for one of me, it would be 1 government and 2 actual people watching me. So 3 people to watch 1. It is not feasible. It's not sustainable.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So, but the thing is, it's just a case of, I must admit, I think getting rid of easily accessed accounts or email addresses is would be the best way to do it. If you've got one account and you have to sign up with that one account, which is verified, then you'll get rid of a lot of the trouble, because people will know that they can be found if they start causing trouble. So if they threaten someone, their account is known. Everything's linked to their email address. They could have different names and different, but it's all their email address. They can only sign up with one. They can't have multiples. And this is coming from someone who's got multiple email addresses. I've got my work email address, I've got my private one, I've got my YouTube one, and I've got a junk couple that I just basically use to filter all the crap emails that I know I'm going to get from certain websites. I just filter them into that and never even check it. However, I would still advocate for one email account.
You see, yes, from, I don't wish to call you a normie, but I might have to. 95% of the entire internet is not Twitter, Google, or whatever.
Oh no, I'm talking about across the social media. Give people, make people have responsibility.
No, I'm actually trying to explain the logistics. I'm not challenging that idea. I'm just saying you want to take control of 5% of what the actual internet is.
No, I don't want to take control. I'm just saying once I rule the world, I will take control. It's nothing to do with one.
Yeah, but your plan is only covering 5% of the internet.
No. It'd be 100% because I know 95% of them won't be a problem.
Oh, the 95% is the problem. That's where they're coming from.
No. The 95% aren't the problem. It's the 5% is the problem. That be the ones that would actually need to be checked on.
No, the 5% is what
it's like, I'll give you an example, right? How many people do not have a license but drive their car?
Oh, I haven't got the foggiest.
Maybe 1% if you're lucky, or even 0.001%, something like that. You might get the occasional people who will drive but they don't have a license. They use someone else's name if they ever get caught, right? So I'm talking about globally. I'm talking about in each country who enforce driving restrictions, right? So in the UK, it could be like maybe 1 in 100,000 drive without a license. In the States, it could be maybe 1 in a million. I don't know. But I'm saying is, because people know they have to get a driving license to drive. 99.9% of them know they're never going to get stopped by the police because they've never done anything wrong. However, they know they still need to get that license to drive. So they follow the rule for that, even though they know that license, even if they can drive better than somebody who has got a license, they still have to get it. It's that aspect of it. It's the fact is, if we followed the same rules for social media as we did for driving, then there would be people going out the door, jumping in their car and driving away without even actually ever being in behind a wheel. They would just sit down, I bought the car so I can drive it. Takes the mighty. I know that's how people used to learn a bike. They would buy a bike, they would sit in it, start the engine, and then learn to drive as it's going. And I know that. I've seen people actually getting a bike and saying, right, how do you go it?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
no,
Because as long as I've got an L plate, I don't need a license, and you can drive around in an L plate with a motorbike. Up until a few years back, with an L plate with a 125, and most people never sat their test because it was only a 125 they ever needed. They don't need to go on a motorway. So that's how they learned to drive a bike. They would buy a bike, sit in it, and learn as they were driving.
Yeah, I'll ping the details in the private chat because this is misconceptions. A lot of people, and trust me, I met veterans far older than me that don't understand the concept. It's essentially what we see, what is influencing most normies, the people that haven't got the clue. That's like, oh, the latest Miss Marvel Universe number 42 is amazing. It's the best script writing and action and acting I've ever seen from Brie Larson.
See, it's the perception that people aren't aware of it. Do you know the first person? Do you know the first thing I would rein in? The very first thing I would rein in if I ruled the world? Internet services providers. They would have to monitor all traffic, which would mean that any traffic which has got pornography, child pornography, would be raided and arrested straight off. Anything with illegal content would be arrested and blocked off from the source. So an internet provider can't say, oh, well, we didn't know it was coming through. Sorry, you should know every bit of traffic's coming through you. So you're responsible if illegal stuff is coming through your provider. I would start with the internet service providers. And I know this is not
I definitely agree.
Sidestepped it.
The really bad stuff should be hunted with the
and service providers would be at the top of that list. They would monitor
the bad
everything.
Guys. This is where I have to say to stop to you. It's the bad guys are using our freedoms against us.
I would curtail them.
How?
I would make people have to be responsible. So if you create an internet service provider, you're an internet service, you're responsible for all traffic coming down your line. So you have to monitor to make sure no illegal traffic. If it's legal, private, keep it neat. You're not allowed to say anything about it. You have to sign things, and if you break the rules, you are responsible for your actions. And people will be responsible for their actions. So if they create an email address just to spam someone and they get caught, they're responsible. Don't care what excuses they give. But he called me a name last time, so I'm just getting them back. Don't care. You broke the rules. You're responsible. End of story. Excuses will not fly.
What about someone like me?
You just get blamed anyway. You're a straight white male. You're the same as me.
Yeah, I'm protected by privilege and everything. I understand that, but I also come with almost 30 years of IT experience now.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
95, 105, 15. Yeah, I'm coming up to 40.
Yeah, you come up to 40. I can tell you, it will take me less than 5 minutes to completely circumvent anything my internet service provider does. They will not ever be able to see what I do.
That's the problem. That's the problem. It's easy to circumvent it just now because there's no rules. Whereas if you say
No, it's
every
not
piece
easy
of
to
traffic.
circumvent it.
No, if you have to tighten up every provider, then you cannot circumvent the fact is that's an illegal that's an illegal website which has got, I'll go for the extremes, it's got child pornography. Somebody can't just go in and go to that website, because as soon as they try and go to that website, it's been flagged and then it gets traced back and you're caught. End of story. That's the way I would do it. So the
But you would
internet
only
service provider
catch
has got every piece of traffic. So if somebody tries to circumvent it, guess what? They're still having to get onto the internet. And if somebody's provided them internet access, they're responsible for making sure they actually don't circumvent it. If they do, they're responsible. And so if you get caught doing it, you're responsible, and so are they. And that's the problem. People turn around and say,
I'm not
freedom of information. That means I can't be blamed for him breaking the rules with my stuff. No, it's your fucking stuff.
I'm not talking about that level. I'm talking about
I am.
Yeah, yes, I understand you are, but I can literally, with my computer set up, so my ISP wouldn't have the foggiest of what website I visit.
No, that's the point. As soon as you've got a line in from your ISP, any traffic coming out of yours is monitored. And if you change it in any way, they should know, because they have given you the line. That's like saying, here's a telephone line, but as soon as you plug it in, I don't know what's happening. No, I know there's traffic coming down it. I know where it's going to. I don't care if it's long as it's legal. If it's illegal, you're getting nipped. So if you say, as soon as they say, here's your line, oh, it's all muffled, he's up to something, so you get investigated, no problem. That's the way I would do it. But I'm a totalitarian nut job.
Yes, I would definitely agree on that one, and I am definitely on the other spectrum.
Yeah, that's why I'm actually. That's why I'm going to get control of the world and crush it in my little hands. 2 days after I die. 2 days after I die. 2 days
on that.
2 days after I die, I'll get it in my right hand. Just call me Galactus.
Oh, you're not gonna do the.
No, I'm not doing a snap, because 50% don't deserve to survive.
Well, what is it? I like half of you half as well as you deserve, and less than half of you half as well as you like.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't snap, because 50% I've got no right to survive. Just crushed a lot.
I will say I absolutely agree with you on all the criminal facts.
Now, see if we could have a Hal Needham sci-fi one about that. That would be fun. Spaceships going crashing through things.
Oh, I have a feeling it's just going to be something like Elon Musk in space or something.
Hal Needham's Star Wars, where they go into the trench run and they built, instead of shooting down the turrets, they crash through them. Going down the trench run, you're going bang, 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 and it's actually hitting all these bloody turrets.
Yep. Oh, that would.
And then you hear and there's a big machine gun.
As long as it has the trademark laughter there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But, yeah, I mean, you just imagine. See, to me, that's why Ice Pirates reminded me, because I think Ice Pirates would have been fun if Hal Needham had actually done something like that, because it was a crazy, zany sci-fi comedy. And I think Hal Needham done some crazy, zany sci-fi stunt movies.
Yeah.
And no sci-fi, sorry, action stunt movies. And I think him going into something like that, I could see him doing something more like Ice Pirates rather than Star Wars, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen a sci-fi one by him to see how it would go.
Do you want me to play the clip?
Yes.
Let's have a one. A laugher. I don't know if the sound quality is good on this, but this is an absolute funny one.
The nuns.
Look at the chicks.
Oh no, that one.
Look at the chicks.
It's not like I'm misunderstanding these priests.
Oh, what a shot we could have getting laid right here.
this. Now that is comedy you will never hear again, especially dressed
Oh
as
God,
Luge.
aye. And considering Dean Martin always looks pissed in the Cannonball movies,
Yeah.
he always does. But
Yeah, but he was playing it to himself, really.
yes, have you seen the roast with Foster Brooks? I've done a couple of clips. Dean Martin and Foster Brooks, they are hilarious. There's a couple on my channel. Dean Martin wrote Foster Brooks on the Dean Martin show, and those two are hilariously funny. And I love Foster Brooks.
I just found Sammy Davis Jr. funny as hell.
Sammy Davis Jr. was an absolute classic. He could sing, he could dance, he was funny, and he could act he could act most people's socks off.
I know.
So he was one of the Rat Pack. You know what I mean?
But him in those two movies.
Oh, in those two movies, he just actually.
He nails it.
Yes, he does. Sammy Davis Jr., I remember him watching him and some of the Dean Martin stuff. Just seeing the two of them together was fun. It's like Dean Martin with early Jerry Lewis stuff. The two of them were good. And watching a few of the Rat Pack movies were good. However, I think Sammy Davis Jr., you could tell that Dean Martin could sing, Frank Sinatra could sing, but I think if Sammy Davis Jr. could knock their blocks off when it came to singing and dancing.
That's true.
I think he was a far superior singer than Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. Obviously, he had the fame, but I don't think he was classed as better than them. But I think he was, and the fact that he was a dancer as well. So I think he was a better all-round entertainer. But what do I know? I mean, I can't sing, I can't dance, I can barely walk.
I just want to raise something about the Cactus Jack. How often do you get Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to keep a straight face for that film?
I know. I just see. I think that it works very well.
Yeah.
So he does.
And
it was one. It was. I think it was his third or fourth movie. So it was.
Yeah, he did Hercules back in the late 60s, 70s. I think it was Pumping Iron next, but that was more of a documentary.
Yeah.
He had a cameo in another film. But with that one, I think that really put him on the map a little bit. And this is way before Terminator.
Right. Try to think one of the best. That's probably the better one. Hold on. Right, let's see. I'll share this. Let me actually share this. This is the one. I think Cactus Jack is probably one of the better Cactus Jack scenes with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. Remember, right? Because I've got so much running, that's why it's a wee bit grainy.
Here, man, let me help you cross the street.
I'm blind. Don't you see all these horses? Oh, we'll never live through that. Watch out for that teeth. Oh, are you trying to get me killed? Oh, this is terrible.
Here, let me help you, ma'am. See, mother, safe and sound.
First of all, I ain't your mother. Secondly, will you take your arm off me, dummy? And thirdly, I didn't even want to cross the street in the first place.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
basically just shows just the way he acts, and it's a case of he plays it sort of dumb. which I thought quite well. But my favourite of that whole movie is the one with Foster Brooks. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
I love it. That's my favourite because I love Foster Brooks. So do.
Meet me in front.
One Smart Horse Whiskey.
I'd like to know where they got that horse from.
Close all
I know.
the stores, lock all the doors. Cactus Jack sleigh has arrived.
Who is it?
The sheriff, open up.
You're not the sheriff.
I lied. 1, close the door. 2, open the safe. 3, on the floor. You forgot number 2.
Oh, no, I didn't. I did that when you stuck a gun in my face.
Foster Brooks is just superb. If you get a chance, I don't know if I've got it. I'm sure I've got it on the my YouTube channel. Hey, the two of them, Foster Brooks with Dean Martin, the airline pilot and the brain surgeon. Both of them are on my channel. They were published 29th and 30th of March. The Dean Martin and Foster Brooks. Have a look at those. Those are funny.
And
So,
apparently Foster Brooks was in Cannonball Run 2 as the fisherman.
Ah, he was a fisherman on the boat. See the ones with the on the boat, and the three of them are going, reel it in. He was the one sitting at the back.
Yeah, telling him it was tall tale about a giant
Yep.
fish.
Yeah.
No, but no, the thing is with Cactus Jack is Arnold Schwarzenegger coming out with that line about I was named after my father. What was your father? Yeah.
Handsome Stranger, that's an unusual nickname. It's not a nickname, that's my own name. I was called after my father.
Yeah, and Margaret trying to come on to him. And he is not taking a blind bit of notice.
And hence the reason why you get the ending you did with Captain Jack with the yippee. That's all, folks.
I'd just like to know how the hell did they get that horse whiskey? Where do they get it from?
Well, you look at whiskey. You look at Comet in Briscoe County Junior. I'm trying to think of the other horse. What was the other horse?
Trigger.
Whiskey. Lightning Jack as well.
Yeah.
The horse was it still did a few tricks, but it wasn't like Whiskey or Comet. So you had Lightning Jack's horse, and you had Cactus Jack's horse, Whiskey, and you had Briscoe County Junior's horse, Comet. Those, the two horses, and I can't even remember what Cactus Jack, because he says he wanted to call it Thunder, but it wouldn't have it. I can't even remember what he called the horse. So, but
and another thing is you had Paul Linden in it as Nervous Elk.
Yes, you nervous elk.
Yeah, and he comes out with that line about at night we can't we don't sleep. Why? Because of those bloody drums.
Yeah, it's basically Cactus Jack was thinking you could not get away with it. These are the finest cavalry this side of the mountains, and the horses they're laughing all over the place. No, they basically, and you couldn't have him playing Nervous Elk now. Two white guys playing Indians.
I know.
Look, Mary, that horse for you. Yeah, I mean.
Good. You got Robert Tessa here. He played Mashing Finger.
No, it's not Mashing Finger. That's the problem. They've named it Mashing Finger. It is.
Right.
It is. Not Nervous Elk. You had Anxious Beaver.
Yeah.
Anxious Beaver is the name they used in the movie, but for some reason on
Someone's put Mashy Finger.
IMDb they've put Mash Finger, but it is not, because it's the one with Thing Me for Mary. Where is it? Whiskey for Mary, that's the one, the clip I did. Right. And this is it here, and listen to this, right? Just to make sure I'm not actually hearing things myself. Right, so this is the bit here. Listen.
Mhm.
Whiskey.
You can hear it okay, yeah?
Did you hear me? Then what are you standing there for?
Listen.
Yeah.
Steven, look down there.
Anxious Beaver.
Over there. It's him. Him it is.
That's a very smart horse, Chief.
Now that horse for you, Barry.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They called him Mash Finger for some reason on the thingy, but it's not. It is Anxious Beaver. I noticed that when I was checking it out, and I thought that's not the right name. So it's Nervous Elk and Anxious Beaver. For some reason, they changed the name.
Really got that wrong.
And he was the one that played the SWAT guy and the biker.
Yep.
So he was, and so you can see they all pop up in each other's the same movies.
Mm. Now we can't mention go without mentioning the guy Mel Tillis.
He was in. He's great.
Oh yes.
Oh, he was in the one. I saw him in Telegraph Office. That's the Telegraph Office, and he was also in obviously Cannonball Run.
He did Smoking the Bandit 2, Cannonball Run 1 and 2,
Uh-huh.
the villain. So I think throwing him in was brilliant.
That's him there.
Yeah.
Pardon me, sir.
Yes?
I'm handsome stranger.
So?
Well, that's my name. I heard you have a telegram for me.
Boy, you talk funny.
Well, that's easy for you to say. What about my telegram?
Oh, yes. So I did. I forgot to write it down. With all that commotion and everything going on over at the bank, but I do recollect what it said. It said it was from a guy named Parody Jones. He said his daughter was coming into town to pick something up at the bank, and that you are supposed to escort her back out to his place. And then he said something about you owing him.
That's true. He saved my life once, and I've been beholden to him ever since. When is Miss Jones arriving?
Miss Jones
is arriving. On the evening train.
Wonder if I still have enough time to get something to eat.
Sure you do. Just going over to the broken spoke and eat.
The Broken Spoke. It's a saloon.
That's right. And this here's a telegraph office. If you want to send a telegram, well, you come here because it's the only place in town. If you want to eat, you go to the Broken Spoke because it's the only place in.
Thank you.
How many takes did that take?
I know. It's just him standing there with it. It's easy for you to see.
Yeah.
Just
Another thing is, okay, with Cannonball Run 2 with Mel Tillis in it, you had him and Terry Bradshaw. And Terry Bradshaw was an American footballer, right? Well known.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And they're loading up that car with beer.
Yeah.
What about food? Just a bag of crisps.
Uh-huh.
Plenty.
He basically did this.
Yeah. Right. And then in number 2, you got, I forgot what's his name. He was in a Taxi, was it?
Aye, Danny DeVito.
No, not Danny
No,
DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
No.
Tony Danza.
Yeah, Tony Danza.
Sorry, I knew who I meant, but my mouth didn't.
And they're going cross country with the ape, or I say probably Clyde's brother, pretending to drive.
Yep.
You know. And it comes to a scene where Tony Danza and the orangutan were in the back of the car, and the orangutan was driving the car.
I had the two of them sitting in the front. The two of them were sitting in the front. Don't worry, Father. I've got the driver for the one at this time, and it's the orangutan.
I know.
And he says, "Now, if your mother could kiss like that, I would still be with her."
And who was that? Who played?
That was the boss. It's the plane, boss. It's the plane. It was. Yeah. It was. I was going to say Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah. And
it was. Khan.
Yeah, and you think you wouldn't see him doing a comedy like that?
I know, but even the outtake, because they didn't use it in the movie, was a bit with, if your mother could kiss like that, I would still be with her. But it's what I'm saying, it's just fun. Some of the best one-liners in this, and it was definitely an entertaining set of movies, which I think I'm going to put them on my watch list more frequently. So because I have seen them all before. And I thought I hadn't seen Hooper, but I had. And Cactus Jack's on my list of movies, on my regular list. Every 6 months or so, I fire them up. And as I said, I've been watching some of the older stuff, like Nuns on the Run and stuff like that again. Just to actually, for the simple fact is, that's what I do.
If we can bring up the topic with Hooper, that was made on a budget of 6 million, but it did about 78 million in the box office. But the amount of work Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds put into the stunt performances in it.
Well, you look at the big stunt at the end.
Yeah, I know. Just trying to get that absolutely right. And another thing is, when a stunt went wrong, who was the first one there? Hal Needham. There was a stunt in Hooper where the car was on fire, the driver couldn't get out properly in time. Hal Needham comes rushing in and pulls the guy out.
Him straight out. Yep.
Yeah. That's how good of a director he was, and how much he looks after the stunt crew.
Aye, because he has been in that position. He's unlike somewhere they're no longer in that position, and they just don't want to remember being in that position.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. You could see it because the extra people put in to do the stuff for him. Because it wasn't just a case of, here we go, somebody. He wasn't the director like the movie director in Hooper. The one who just wanted it done, doesn't care the damage.
I know. The way I saw it, that director in Hooper, is Hal Needham's response to what probably directors he worked with in the past.
Probably, yes, that's exactly. Or else the wee guy who would blame the stuntmen for other stuff.
Yeah.
That to me was him saying, these are the type of people I've had to deal with. Once he'll tell you something, and then afterwards say, no, it was his idea. So here you have to use the real dog. But when the vet asks and says, no, we told him to use the prop, he says it wouldn't look real, so he took the dog itself and then endangered the dog rather than we told him to do it. I can see that's what he's actually said. Those two characters in particular were in for. I could see it in the movie because of how distant they were. To me, he was making a statement about the people in Hollywood. And then you look at it when he's doing Smokey and the Bandit.
Yep.
That's why I love truckers.
Yeah.
And the fact is that initially when he's talking CB talk, he's sort of saying something and he's explaining to Sally Fields what he's meaning, then gradually it's a case of we're not even telling you. You just need to listen and pick it up yourself. You know what I mean?
And especially having Jerry Reed as Snowman in both films. And the thing is, they got Jerry Reed to sing the theme tune, Eastbound Down. It really works well with the film.
Yep.
But Jerry Reed, he was really great friends with Burt Reynolds. Especially doing it. He did a cameo.
See, that's why you can always see when people work together that they're friends, because they're that extra bit. Like, for instance, you look at Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise, you can see they had a good working relationship, because even when they were doing outtakes, they were laughing too much at the stupid things the other person would do to two of them. Don't slap me so hard again, I'm sore. Oh, and they carry on and they slapping them just to say stop slapping me. That type of things, and you could just see how well they got on. Whereas you look at other things, you look at it and think those people do not have chemistry. Yet you're meant to believe they would fight for each other.
But I've got to say, with Cannonball Run, the first one, I think it wasn't they gave birth to a double axe, but it just showed how much double axe worked.
Yep.
D. Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise,
the girls.
The girls, yeah. It's just also with Jackie Chan pairing with Richard Kill in the second one.
Yes,
You don't really expect that.
No, Jaws and Jackie, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And then it's the same with Roger Moore and hundreds of different women.
I know.
A different woman every single time. And you knew fine well at the end that he was the one going to hit with the button. You knew it because don't touch that one, don't touch that one, don't touch that one. Like, it's not working, is it that one? Boom. And he knew he was going to get into it, but it was the fact that it was a lead up to it. And then you had... There was a lot of good double acts in it. It definitely worked well for that. Because even when you had the two of them loading up with beers and the crisps, that's a double act in it. So even if it's only on for 2 minutes, and that's the whole time they're on screen is the whole 2 minutes for every single scene they're in, but it's a double act and they seem to work. And that's the thing.
This is why Hal Needham really knew how to get the talent in for all these movies. Working with Kirk Douglas, because he worked with Kirk Douglas as his stunt double on two westerns, and bringing him in and saying, "Would you like to do this film?" Okay, and and Kirk Douglas is having a whale a lot of the time. Smokey and the Bandit, but apparently Smokey and the Bandit was written by Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds together. They come up with an idea from another film they made. I can't remember it was, but they came up with it. And next, Cannonball Run came about because of the actual Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
And Hal Needham actually took part in the Cannonball Run, driving the ambulance across America. And that's what spawned it. This is why I like this guy, because he knew how to work with actors, and they knew that it would all. It's like with Mel Brooks. All the days were never dull. As long as the director made it a fun set and looked after everyone, that was it. It was never a dull moment. And I think that is the major problem, what happened going along, and also in the past. Some directors were complete arseholes. Some actors and actresses were complete arseholes and all. Like, turn up, do one scene and bugger off. And you get paid how much for doing one scene?
Yeah, it's the fact is it's even the attitude of some of these people that basically come in.
Yeah.
Yes, everything has to be white, even the beans in the tin, and you have to have only white jelly beans. You can't have other colours. You can't have any other colour furniture. You piss off! You're in to do a movie or sing a song. If you want all that, you pay for it yourself. But you think we're paying for decorating a room for you for one night? But the people do it because it's such a big name. To me, I would actually just say no, bug off. But that's
Well,
just
I'm going to read. I want to read this about Frank Sinatra from Cannonball Run II, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says here that Frank Sinatra agreed to do a cameo at suggestion of Davis and Martin. Needham wrote 3 versions of the script for him in one where he could work a week, 2 days, or 1 day. He picked the latter, and he was paid $30,000 for that day, but Frank donated it to charity. How good of Frank Sinatra, donating that.
Basically, he did a cameo, got a good figure for it, and rather than me, he just says, "I don't need it. I was just doing it for friends."
Yeah.
That's what you can see. And yes, he might have been a good old boy, a crook, in bed with a mob, but there was always things around everybody at the time for things like that. So you can only actually base it on their actions and things like that. Shows the type of person they are behind it all.
It just really makes you laugh.
Yeah, it does.
Today's majority of films compared to, but now I think there's a little bit of a turn with some directors because now they look after the actors to a degree. Like what I'm talking about is that you've got some actors and directors who work together to write a film these days. What I'm trying to explain is that, I know they're trying to keep up to the majority of the wokeness and all this and that, but sometimes it is good to have that chemistry.
I've not seen any that I could honestly say yes.
But I'm not talking about the major big Hollywood budget type films. I'm talking about probably the smaller films. The films that don't, like head into the cinema straight away and all this and that.
Yeah.
This is what's missing from Hollywood today is something like past movies like this where you don't get those directors taking those risks. This is the problem today.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's I think the problems of good directors, good writers, and good actors is a thing of the past. At the moment, you've just got people who will do whatever job they're given, good or bad, they don't care. So if they have to be nice to people to get the job, they'll do it. If they have to be nasty to people to do the job, they'll do it. They don't care enough about the people to actually even bother one way or the other.
If I add this angle to it, you can only choose one title for the 2 that I'm choosing. The one title for the first one is entertainer. The second one is actor. And I will give you 2 names. So one is an entertainer, the other is an actor. And I'll put Ryan Reynolds versus Burt Reynolds.
Good point.
Which one is an entertainer and which one is just an actor?
Well, see, I would say Burt Reynolds is both an actor and an entertainer.
Yeah.
Where Ryan Reynolds is an adult pretender.
That's my whole point. If Ryan Reynolds had been around at the same time as Burt Reynolds and the rest of all the comedic actors back
He would
then,
be an extra.
He would likely be an extra, but he would likely be an entertainer, not just an actor. Someone there for a paycheck. And I
Make
don't
sure you
think
respect.
Ryan Reynolds is there for a paycheck, but I'm just giving that. I'm trying to find the closest to both of these that I can find. And Ryan Reynolds is one that I think he actually wants to be there to try and entertain. But he is in an environment where he's only allowed to be an actor.
This is Ryan Reynolds, right? You need
Yeah.
to pay attention very closely to this. You ready? Buddy, don't
Yes.
sit on the keyboard. Hold on. He's going to sit on the keyboard and press the pause or kick me out. So hold on, right?
Extra! Extra! I'm an extra!
Was that Rick Bale standing there?
That's Rick. It's Filthy Rich and Cat Flap.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. So yes, basically, I could not resist it when we were talking about Ryan Reynolds being an extra. So basically, I couldn't resist it. So because I was watching that today, so it's just one of my clips I was uploading, and I just find that one of the best. That Rick Mail paid somebody to extra. I'm an extra, and that was all the guys. He walks on, walks off, just saying that, and that is it. You don't see him again. He got paid to be an extra for a joke, a 9-second joke.
Yep.
Superb. And how many people would do that just for a 9-second joke? In the middle of
Again, I fall back to my question. Difference between an actor and an entertainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would still say, no matter what, Burt Reynolds is an actor and an entertainer.
But another thing I wanted to mention about some actors from the past, all the hard work they had to build up before they got their major break.
Yeah, they all started and worked their way up in the world.
Yeah. And Burt Reynolds was really a stuntman to start off with until we got like properly discovered.
Yeah.
And all that hard
Well,
work.
our favorite, the man with the chin,
Aye,
literally
Bruce Campbell.
traveling across
Yeah.
the country on his own dime to go to cinemas and conventions or like promotionals
Uh-huh.
to like try and boost a low budget film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
And even when he was doing Briscoe County Junior, he was doing stuff that people are saying, but the show's almost, it's going to cancel. He says, so it's still in syndication. People like it, so I'll go out and advertise it for, even if in the off chance it gets a second season, if it doesn't, I'll still do it because
Yeah.
they've asked me based on the fact that it's on the TV just now. If it gets cancelled just as I'm walking in, I'm not going to turn around and say no longer anymore. I'll just still do it because consummate professional. He would do these things. Look at some of the stuff he's done with fans. Somebody had asked him if he helped him to propose, and he wrote to him and he says, "I'm coming to the Comic-Con. My wife doesn't know, like my girlfriend doesn't know I'm going to propose to her. Will you help me?" So he did, and they arranged it by email backwards and forwards. The girl came in and Bruce Campbell's chatting her up and all that, and she's going, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, there's something I need to say," and he goes like that, "What is it?" And the guy turns around and says, "Will you marry me?" And she went, and Bruce Campbell goes, "You have to say aye now." She went, "Oh, aye." Basically, and it was because they worked the wee thing me around where he's chatting her up and all that in front of the boyfriend, and she's at Bruce Campbell, and he basically, "Oh, there's something else I've got to say. What was it?" And he basically, and the girl's so shocked that Bruce Campbell says, "You have to say aye now." But it's things like that. It's a consummate professional. Helps basically enjoys fan interaction. You look at some of the things like you see on YouTube when they're doing the quiz. Bruce Campbell's up there, and somebody will come up and ask a question, and they'll mention something maybe to do with the, like if they ask a question about so and so, and somehow they work some of Bruce Campbell's stuff into the answer, and they go, "Right, hold on," and gives them $1. Well done, and he basically just goes on with it because they've mentioned him. He'll give them $1, and it's something silly. Look, I got $1 for Bruce Campbell, and it's. And I got just that whole interaction with the fans.
Yeah, and I also got to mention, it seems like these, what Hal Needham done, and other films out there that gave birth to what you call cult classics.
Yeah.
Greatest followings ever.
Yes. Mm-hmm. See, they need to do a Hal Needham selection and actually have
That's
all the
true.
movies in a, like
Yeah.
for instance, Laura Harvey collection, Babylon 5 collection, Arthur Askey collection, John Wayne collection. They have to
you're
do
talking-
that. I'm getting the Frankenstein collection, so it's whittling its way to me now. But that was my
The
first
thing-
start of the stream. But I've just told you ahead of the time.
The thing is, I would love, if I had the money, I would love to take part in a Cannonball Run or race across America. That would be like the icing on the cake. I know you got like the Gumball Rally, but that's mostly for like the rich people and that these days. But the Cannonball Run, it was whatever background you're from, and you take part in this rally.
Aye, whatever
And it
car,
doesn't matter-
as long as you've got a car and you've got the entrance fee.
Yeah, it's just this is the thing, right, about the Cannonball Run. It's just, it would be great to do it. To me, I think it would be great to come back, really, because I don't think they do it this much these days.
No,
but you got
there's too many restrictions.
Yes, I agree with that. But another thing is, you've got Hi Cam. You've got another thing, another film out there called. Well, actually, it was got the Gumball Rally, which I meant the Gumball Rally, where two rich blokes take part, but they get everybody in to go across America.
Yeah. Okay, Christ, they've already done things like that here. Remember, it's a not a Madman World. That was the American one. It was the one with Tony Curtis and all that. It was about the race to Switzerland.
Oh yes,
you had Terry Thomas as Dick Dastardly type character.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
You had Monte Carlo and Bust.
Monte Carlo and Bust. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's Monte Carlo and Bust. There you go. Cam. His cousin Bruce, not Hollywood, but very underrated actor, loved Briscoe, and that was before they knew he was related. I'm still jealous as hell. We've lost Jim. I think Jim had to go. We're going to be finishing up shortly anyway.
Yeah.
Jim had to bounce because he's literally got some works just come in, so that's why he disappeared. And we didn't get a chance to say cheerio, Jim. So cheerio, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Right. So Cam, we are literally finishing up in a couple of minutes anyway. So we were just actually finishing off, and you just come in at the last minute. But yeah, we'll need to do a Bruce Campbell Wednesday night because there's so much of Bruce that I've got up on my shelf. Up on that shelf up there, I've got Briscoe, I've got The Evil Dead, I've got Jack of All Trades, I've got Burn Notice, I've got Bubba Hotep, I've got loads. I've even got a film slide from Briscoe, and I've got film slides from The Evil Dead up there as well. I love Briscoe. I love Bruce Campbell. I've got both these books as well. Hail to the Chin and If Jim Could Kill. So I'm going to do a Bruce Campbell one in the near future. That'll be a few weeks away because I want to watch all the TV shows, including Burn Notice. Chuck Finlay.
Well, before we go, I'd like to raise my glass to Hal Needham. Thank you for giving us these great movies.
Definitely.
That's what
Well
I'm saying.
done, that man. So, as Buford T. Justice would say, hold my hat, boy. So, before we go,
yes,
remember, and like, share, and subscribe. I was told I still don't do this enough. You need to subscribe. Get over to FFSI and subscribe. And Alec, you want to tell them about your book?
Yes, at the moment I'll be taking a break at the moment because I've got a deadline because I received the contract.
Yay!
And I will explain that to you afterwards, after the stream. But at the moment, the GoFundMe is still up. There's no deadline to it. You can come and donate if you wish, or share it out to all your friends and that until we hit the target. And
It's in the description of this video.
Thank you very much. But once after that, hopefully we'll probably see the book out, and then I can get to work on book 2. That's the main objective. That's the main objective. But one more thing I've got to raise about FFSI at the moment. We're going to be on hiatus for a little bit because of this book, because of the deadline.
Yep, definitely. So there you go. Check it out. It's in the description. So thank you guys for joining us. And remember, I'm not old. I'm classic. PJ maybe and Alec, Mr. AWK.